Okay, so what we're doing in this meeting, just to recap for people who may be watching the recording, what we're doing in this meeting is we're going to try and answer some questions about connecting to the classwork, how to make a new document in Polypad, how to maybe send homework if you're just using a notebook and writing on paper, how you might upload that to Google Classroom, how to connect to our Zoom class meetings, and then any other questions that come up along the way, we're going to work on that. Maybe I'll start with some information about connecting to the Zoom class meeting. If you give me one moment, actually, maybe I could work on that and somebody else could answer a different question. Ayantu, I think you know the difference between Desmos and Polypad.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you could share your screen and show everyone? Like maybe you'd go to Google Classroom and then show how you can open up Desmos activity and how you open up a Polypad activity. Would you mind doing that? And then, because I'm going to get some information about connecting to the Zoom class.
Pardon?
Okay.
So Yantu will share her screen and show us. One of the questions was, is Desmos and Polypad the same thing? And are they connected?
Okay.
Difference between these two things. I mean, we're using a bunch of different terms and Desmos and Polypad are math learning tools that you may not have heard of otherwise, right? So Yantu can explain what they are, I think.
Okay, I'm looking. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Here I am in the Google Classroom, and in this Google Classroom I have some informations here, and here is what Eric posted for Desmos and to find in Google Classroom. If you find in each link you find different activities, but Desmos and the Polypad is a little different. If I am correct, you can correct me, Eric, if I make mistake.
Okay, but you're fine, Yantu.
Yeah, you're doing fine.
Okay. So here, if I click on Desmos, I find day 2 activities, which we had last time in the beginning of the class to do activities. So if I click on that, I find some questions, and if there is question here, it shows here we have 1 to 8. So I go to answering the questions from 1 to 8 next, and I follow. So also there is something last time Eric was sharing in the video for Desmos. If you want to see your work or comments from the teacher, here I don't see it, but there was some information where you can see your comments from the teacher or on your work. This is Desmos. Okay. Is it clear what I'm saying?
Yantu, maybe you could go through a few different slides.
Okay. You mean go back?
No, like maybe like because you're on slide 2 of 8. Maybe you can go and show us a few more slides.
Okay.
Right, so this is Desmos. We usually do this at the beginning of class. You might do it in between classes. Could you show us, Ayantu, could you show us day 1?
Okay.
If everyone has had a chance to do the day 1 activities. You might need to go back to Google Classroom to find it. So you all notice that, do you all see how Iantu's getting around and finding the assignments?
Do you see it?
Yes, I am too. I see it. How about anybody else? Do you guys see that?
Yes, I could see that.
Yes.
Okay. If you guys see the oranges, then you know that you're at day one, the activity that we did on Desmos.
Yeah, I think on both activities there is orange. So the way you can find this, it says in the Google Classroom, day one and second day, second class and first class, I think.
Right.
Okay. Can I go back now?
Would you mind going inside here real quick? Continuing,
Okay.
just to, and then maybe going through a few slides, just so people can see what this looks like.
Okay.
So you can see where Ayantu answered some of these questions. Now here's an example.
Okay, yes.
Remember Ayantu mentioned that you can see teachers' comments. What did you see, Ayantu, that made you say that?
Yes, here I can see lesson feedback. When I click on that, I get a comment. If there is comment, I see comments here.
Yeah, those are messages from me.
From the
When
teacher.
you submit your work through Desmos, I can look at it immediately, give you comments, give you feedback. What questions do you all have about Desmos? This is Desmos we're looking at right now.
Do I have to log in the Desmos?
How do you submit your work on Desmos?
Two great questions. Ayantu,
Yes. Can I continue?
did you get both? Did you hear both questions?
No, I didn't type it.
So here's one question. There's the other question. So do I have to log into Desmos, and do I have to how do I submit my work in Desmos?
I think once in Google Classroom and then you go to click on Desmos, once you start your activities, the teacher can see your work, right?
Right.
That's true. In Desmos, you don't have to save. You type your answers in here, like so when Ayantu typed in 32, right? 3 quarts for $8, 12 quarts for $32. As soon as she typed in 32, I could see it. So in this part, you don't have to save.
Yeah, I think, and about to log in, I don't remember. I need if you can help.
Yeah, so could you go back to the first assignment, or Gina, do you know?
To the first assignment?
No, I'm sorry, to the question, do you have to log into Desmos to work?
Well, so as long as you have Google Classroom, you don't have to log in because it's in Google Classroom. So like Ayantu had just showed us, you go through your page on Google Classroom. Let me pull up my Google Classroom so I can explain better. So when you're on Google Classroom for Eric's math class, and you scroll down.
So do you want to share your screen and show us what you're doing?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so when you're on Google Classroom.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so when you're on Google Classroom, you can scroll down like Ayantu has showed us, right? And you go down here in this section, and this is where Eric attached the links. We have Desmos. We have find an advertisement, which was part of an assignment that we have for homework. Make equation and ratios, also part of an assignment we had to do, practice with ratios. And so Ion2 was in, was it activities for first class, Ion2, or that was the second one?
No, the first class, the one I was showing right now, was
the first one. Okay, so once you see these links, and if we're working on something on Desmos, you just bring your little arrow or little hand.
Can you show me the last class from last week? How to submit the work on Desmos from the class from last week?
Okay, who's talking?
Ariel.
Ariel. Okay, just 1 second, Ariel. So once you click on that Desmos link, it's gonna automatically take you into Desmos. You're gonna see it here, day 1 introduction, right? We're gonna click on that. And once you click on that, you're gonna see continue.
Stop for 1 second, Gina. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt, Gina.
Continue to activity. The activity.
But
that shows up if you've already logged in. So for Gina and Ayantu, I think it's because you logged in here maybe last week and it stayed logged in. So the goes here, they actually have to log in. So maybe you can click on where it says not Gina Cortez. Could you click on sign out?
Okay.
This is what it'll look like the first time you come here. So you do need to sign in, but you don't have to create an account. You can just use your Gmail account.
Okay. So if you have it, yeah. So you're gonna so like Eric mentioned, you use your Gmail account. You use your Gmail account, and you just click that in, and then it'll bring you into the activity that we are assigned. Okay, Eric, what else was it?
I think was asking about last week's
your work
activity.
in Desmos from last week? The work from he gave us in Desmos from last week, how do you submit it?
Okay. Let me go back to wait, how do I get out of Desmos?
Well, here's one thing to point out that I don't know if you all noticed, but you see that Gina has a lot of tabs open at the top.
I do.
Kind of cool, no judging. I mean, that's that's the way mine ends up like looking at like that too. But each of these, and I'll circle them, each of these is a different window. And all of these that I'm circling with blue right now, it's all Google Classroom. I know that because I recognize that little pink square. It means So you could probably go back to any of those. But you could probably close them too.
There we go.
Yeah, then you can go back to them, and then you can.
Okay, so thank you for that, Eric. So, Ariel, that was you, right? That asked me that question. And you had asked how to submit. How did you submit the work for last class?
Yeah.
Okay. So for last class, what did we have for last class? Well, it was was it making equivalent ratios, Eric?
Well, another way, I put these all here in one place because from a few different classes, but you might go up to classwork. I think you might.
It was both of them.
Okay, let's try this.
Yeah, and the other one. There was two.
Okay, I'm gonna click on classwork.
Classwork.
Okay. And here, this is class
activity for last week.
So this is gonna show what we have worked on. Okay, the activities that we had already worked on. So we have day 2. If we click on that, we're gonna see what we worked on for day 2.
Yeah.
And then if you want to continue opening it to see what what was going on, what was being worked on, we click on this right here. If you want to view your assignment that you had already submitted, you can also view assignment, right? And you could click that again. Usually you would see something here, an attachment. You could click that And that's usually something that you would attach and send it to Eric. And you can if you
So tell me how to do it again.
okay.
Wait, say it again, Ariel, don't unmute, or don't mute yourself so quickly, because we don't quite understand what you're saying.
Okay. So I'm gonna go
Ariel?
Ariel.
Yeah.
She's just excited, Eric. She's excited.
No, tell us the question one more time, please, Ariel.
Ariel.
How do you submit the work from 2 weeks ago on Desmos?
Okay.
A week ago, the 2 works from a week ago. How do you submit it on Desmos?
Okay, Eric, you might have to help me out here.
Okay, yeah, go to classwork.
Okay, classwork.
And then, so you can see
You are.
that the assignments, like for January 28th, that was last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
There were 3 assignments. One was in class, or 2,
Mhm.
those first 2, and then there was homework.
Yeah, homework.
The first one
Mm.
is Desmos.
Mhm.
So we could look at that. Maybe we'll start there. So maybe,
This one.
yeah, if you wouldn't mind clicking on that.
Okay.
And then you go ahead and click on the Desmos link to open it up.
That's it.
Okay. And this is the Desmo activity. So you, like Eric mentioned a little bit ago, you might have to sign in. It's gonna show, I think it says sign in with your Gmail account, if I'm not mistaken, and then you just put in your Gmail account, and it'll log you in. In this case, I'm already, logged in.
But this is, you could go back. This is a way to see feedback too. You can see comments from teachers.
Right. And so like Ayantu was showing us, you could kind of like go up and down and look at your work.
I know, but how do you turn your work market as done? How do you submit it? I'm asking, how do you submit it? How do you send it to the teacher when it's finished?
Okay. So usually when you're done, if I can remember, does it usually say submit, Eric?
No, I think
Desmos. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because Desmos, what from my understanding, Desmos, once you've completed, you can see that I've completed it. Right. So I don't
the teacher
usually
can see immediately, so doesn't need to save
right because
or
you already
submit.
right. So that's my understanding of Desmos.
Yeah, for this particular Desmos with these different slides, I see your work as you type it. You don't have to hit submit. You don't have to hit save.
So, Mr. Eric, you don't have to put mark as done?
You can if you want in Google Classroom, but in
How
here,
do you, but you don't have to press submit?
you don't
No.
actually have to, because I
How
can
do you
see it
how do
already.
you get to mark as done? How do you find it to put it in mark as done?
Well, when it's done to your satisfaction, when you feel like it's done, you can mark done. So maybe Gina, let's
Tell
go
me
back.
how to get to that again. How to get to mark as done?
Sure. So Gina, could you go back to Google Classroom? Maybe this tab right here, the one you were just in.
Okay.
So if you see here, let's not open Desmos again. Click
Okay.
View instead.
What was that, Eric?
Click View Assignment instead of
Right here.
there, exactly. Now, so
Right
I
here.
know how to get to this screen here. Well, let's assume you're done, because actually Gina, as we just saw, Gina had done all the activities, right?
Right.
Desmos. But Ariel's bringing up a good point. What you could do now, Gina, is just hit mark as done. You did it.
And there you go.
I
Now,
didn't need you to do that because I could already see that you
Thank
could do
you.
it. But that's how you could do it. Yeah.
but if you feel comfortable doing that, Ariel, because you want to just make sure and you think that you feel that you want to do that, then you can do that. But he will still see the work.
Right.
Now, if you are unhappy and want to go back to look at something, change something, whatever the case may be, you can always unsubmit.
Yeah,
And
yeah, you do that. Yep. Mhm.
and then you go back into the activity, and then if you want to change something, you change it, and then you do the same thing. You mark as done, and Eric will, he'll see that is marked as done. That's it.
Yeah.
Ariel, how we doing? It takes a little bit of practice. It does.
Could you hit unsubmit, Gina? I'm sorry to cut you off. Forgive me. Say what you were going to say, and then I have something I want to say. What were you
Oh
saying?
no, I was just with Ariel, I was just kind of like letting her know that this does take some practice. I mean, it took me practice as well to kind of get used to it, and I'm still getting used to Desmos and Polypad. So it just takes a little bit of playing around with it. And even so, like when you guys have a little bit of free time, kind of like dabble into it, and you get the hang of it. Yes, Eric.
So I think it was Gavina who was saying that she wanted to turn in homework from her notebook. And I wanted to point out that for any assignment in Google Classroom, you don't actually have to submit your work using whatever the link is. Like whether it's Desmos or Polypad or something else, you could just do the work on paper, if you can upload a photograph. And if you look on the right side here, do you see where it says under your work?
Under your work? Where do you see
So
that?
let me just point out, like over here, this section here, right? So we just marked something as done, but you can also add or create, and you can add a bunch of different things. You could. So what could you click on that, Gina, just to show us what it looks like? So you could add like a Google document, which would be like where you could tell you answers, right? You could upload a file, like a photograph.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little harder with a computer because maybe your photographs aren't on your computer if you take photographs with your phone.
Right.
On a tablet, or if you're on a phone, this is actually easier because you can go to your work, hit add or create, click on file, I believe, and then look through the photos on your phone.
So when you click on file, sorry, Eric.
Go ahead.
If you click on file, this is what you're gonna see on your screen. And browse is just gonna open up your files. And if you go in the corner here, you can see your iCloud, your desktops, documents, your photos. If you want to upload a photo, in this case is what we're talking about, you click on your photos and you're going to see all your photos. And if there's a particular photo you want to share with Eric, then you just click on the photo that you want to upload.
Oh, so you have a video.
It's a video? Oh, sorry.
No, but it's fine. But you can also you can delete it once you've uploaded it, right? So yeah.
Okay. So should I go back and do the same thing? Just because I want to give you guys an idea as to how it, how it would look.
One thing to point out, Gina, is that we don't see the window that popped up. We're still looking at.
Oh, okay.
It's not shared with us, but that's okay. It's just we don't. There's a window that Gina's seeing on her computer that we don't see right now.
Okay, and the window that you probably the window that I'm probably seeing right now that you guys don't get to see, it says insert files using Google Drive, and then in the bottom of that little screen it says browse. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, and so you would click on a little square box that's blue that would say browse. And once you click on that browse, it would take you to where all your documents are at. Can you see what I'm doing? Can you guys see?
We don't see this part.
Okay.
I can demonstrate. Let me demonstrate real quick.
Sure. Do you want me to stop sharing?
Yeah, I can change that.
Okay.
So let me see here. So actually, I want to show you a couple things maybe.
Okay.
But let's see here. I'm in my student account. Let me go into Google Classroom. So I have a student account I use so I can see what it looks like for you. So see, I'm going to classwork and then I'm going to go to an assignment. January 8th. I'm going to choose a different one, maybe the equivalent ratios is one that people might want to upload a notebook, a page from their notebook instead of doing it in Polypad. Like this right here, we're making equivalent ratios. This is what we did last week with all the advertisements. Like, I don't know, evaporated milk was $4 for $5, and how much would, it cost for $8, 12 or 8 cans or 12 cans. But let's say, for example, I'll show you what it looks like, first of all. Like this was that. This is what that worksheet looked like, right? And, but maybe I'm on my phone or whatever reason, it's hard to do this stuff on the computer. So, but it would be fine to do this on a notebook as well. And so let's say, someone copied these into the notebook and did the work that way. If you're over here in Google Classroom, you notice I'm clicking between my tabs at the top. This lets me move from Polypad to Google Classroom to my email. So that's a useful thing to be able to do, is make sure you can find, like once you click on a Polypad link, it opens up Polypad and now Google Classroom's gone. But you can always find it by clicking on a different, they call it tab, kind of like a file folder tab. But let's say, for example, you did this work in the equivalent ratios on paper. You could click add or create, and you want to add a photograph. I'm going to add file, like Gina said. You know what, I'm having the same issue. I need to share my whole screen so you all see what I'm doing. And I think I click add or create, file. There's different places you can find, like here's some images under recent. Could upload. I could go into my drive, like my Google Drive. I'm going to go to upload and click browse, like Gina did. And hopefully you see a little window pop up. Do you see this window? Do you see like downloads here?
Desktop,
Yes.
download.
Yeah, so this is what Gina was doing, but we couldn't see her window.
Mhm.
But you can see, I can go around and look on my computer and see if those photos are there. But for most people, maybe their photos are on their phone and they're not on their computer. If you have a tablet, the photos, maybe you could use the camera on your tablet. So I'm going to take, here's an image. I'll just click on it and I'll click open. And it's going to upload it. And just like what happened with Gina, now this picture is in my assignment. I could click on it so we can all look at it. It doesn't actually relate to this ratios assignment because I didn't do the work in my notebook yet. But just as an example, it's an image that I could upload. And then I hit turn in, and then I'll see it'll go to the teacher. It's a little easier to do all this on a phone because then you can just take a picture and then upload it to Google Classroom. Who has questions about this? Okay, well, let me answer a different question, which is about how to get on the Zoom meeting. Nabina was noticing that, or mentioning that she had to go answer a bunch of questions. She was registering again for the meeting. That can work, but it's not necessary. If you go to your email, you should get an email that looks like this. It says Zoom information for CUNY math problem solving group. Now you may have gotten it last week, you may have gotten it the week before, you may have gotten it when you first registered for the class. And I'll send it before the class, but it's always the same email. So you don't have to go get a new one each week. If you can go find the one from 2 weeks ago, from 3 weeks ago, that same link that's in here, it says Zoom information for community math problem solving group. If you scroll down here and see where it says join meeting, that same link will always work for you. Now it's unique, it's individual, it's for you specifically because you registered for the class. So when you click on this, your name will pop up because it knows who you are. That's why we can't share it with other students. It's a higher security because it means that people who shouldn't be in the class can't come. People have to register. And so this is what you want to do. You want to go to your email and look for Zoom information, and it should be there. And even if it was a while ago, I don't know, you might need to know how to search your mail. Do you ever search your mail like this up here? You could type in Zoom, maybe. And look, oh, there it is again. I've gotten it twice. I've got the same email, like here and here. But in either one would work. Like this link will work. So that's one recommendation. The other thing you could do, even, I don't know if anyone uses their calendar. Does anyone use their calendar in Google?
Yes.
You can click add to Google Calendar.
Oh, okay.
And then, let's see, I have to sign in. Okay, I'll sign in again. Okay, hit continue, yes. But now it's actually in my calendar. So I'll get a reminder on my phone. So here's the 4th, that's tomorrow. And I can go in the calendar, let's see how next week's the 11th, the 18th, the 25th. And then it's always here. Like I open it up and here's the link. So that maybe that's easier because you don't have to register it like more than once. You don't have to register every week. It's not necessary.
Okay.
What other questions do we have? No, we had some questions about Polypad.
Yeah. How to make a new document on Polypad.
Well, do you want? Do you mind sharing your screen, Ayantu, and showing us what Polypad looks like again, in case people
Okay.
forgot?
Let me see.
Welcome, Margaret. So Ayantu is going to open up a Polypad assignment, but you want to show us how to, you want to know how to make a blank, an empty document or a new document, right?
Here are the written ones. So I wanted to do something else like this on another new page. So
Nice.
how?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So how I can create another one.
Yeah, it's a good question. Does anyone know
Mhm.
how to get a blank one? Like just a new sheet of paper?
I know you showed us, Eric, but I don't remember how to do the put a blank paper so you could start something new.
So I'm going to put, just real quickly, I'm going to put a link to Polypad in the chat. In case you want to open it up and try on your own. You can just watch if you want, but you might want to open it up and try it on your own. So I think here, let me give you a different, I think I'm here, whoops. Here's the right. I think I gave you the wrong link. The second link I think is better. So if you look on the left side, you see under file, Ayantu, like all that stuff under file, like you have the name of the document. I'll just give people a little tour here maybe.
The Polypad is
Okay.
So we look on the
Green.
left side. you maybe see it, but 1 second, let me just give people a little bit of a tour.
Give me a
That's
second
really-
because my computer is getting something's happened.
Oh, okay. We still see your screen.
Okay, but I can't see. My screen is frozen.
Oh,
So
no. Well, here, well, it's okay. I'll just show people what we can see right now.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to do anything right now. So if you see on the left side, everybody, the name of this document that Yantu's working on is making equivalent ratios. You see, I circled it, and and then when she makes changes here, she can hit save, right? And that means that she can come back to it later, and she sees the work she did. It also means that I can see your work. So because for Polypad, the way you turn in work is you just save it. If you're in my classroom, if you're in the Polypad class, all you have to do is hit save. And if you're logged in with your name, then it's there when you come back. It'll always be there. Okay, Yantu might be having trouble with her computer. The other thing to point out here is that there's a library. In the library are all the assignments that are all the files that Yantu has worked on. So a lot of this is from our class last semester, but here's making equivalent ratios is one of them. And inside here where it says assignments, those are assignments for this class. So that's a place you can go to find the work. It's also in Google Classroom. Yantu, is your computer working?
yeah, I can only hear your voice. Just the screen went black.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
let me. I'll show with my. I'll show with my computer.
Okay.
So let's see here 1 moment. Okay, so I'm in Polypad.
Okay, finally.
Let's see here. I'm in the here are the assignments. I click on this arrow to open them. The practice with ratios is one of the assignments.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I want a new screen, like Yantu was saying. So here's what
Oh, okay.
it's under the library section.
Mhm.
This is a new folder if you wanted to organize your files, and this
Okay.
is a new file,
Mm-hmm.
Polypad. So I just click on that.
Oh, okay.
So that see how it says untitled here, untitled Polypad. Like, I don't know, it could be like notes from Thursday's meeting, right? I don't know, we could put that, we could put, I don't know, we could take notes on what some of the questions were. Let's see, do I have any questions, right? So we could, here are some of the questions from today. So then let's say I wanted to save the notes. I can go up here and I change the name. Notes from Thursday's meeting. And then hit save. And then you see it's here, popped up down here in my library. So since I saved it, I can now, I could open up another file and then I could go back to it. I say, well, I want to go back to that notes document. And I double click it, or I click on this thing here. Does that make sense, Sayantu?
Yes, this is clear. And another question connect to this one. How I can bring images or something picture on new Polypad?
Great idea, great question. Let's see here. Well, there's this button down at the bottom. You see where it says upload image?
Mm,
Let me make sure I'm sharing my whole screen so you can see.
not images.
Upload image here.
Ah, yes, yes.
And then I can, like I did before, I could find an image on my computer. And there it is.
Okay, okay.